Welcome to our presentation all about bees.
By Ralph Tarling and Eleanor Tornani.
Honeybees in numbers.
2 antennae, 5 eyes, 7 species, 10 temperature degrees Celsius above which they fly, 50 kilograms or years of pollen collected by a hive, 100 flowers visited by one bee in one day, 80,000 kilometers flown to make a jar of honey, 200 million years that bees have been on Earth. This is a picture showing the morphology of a bee. Abdomen. Jointed legs. Thorax. Antenna. Tongue or proboscis. Eye. Head. Wing.
Pollination.
So that plants can make seeds, pollen grains usually have to be transferred from one plant to another. This process is called pollination. Most plants rely on receiving pollen from another plant of the same type or species. This is called cross-pollination. Many flowering plants are brilliantly coloured to attract insects or other small animals. These animals pick up the pollen and carry it from one plant to another. Most plants use insects, especially bees and butterflies, as pollinators. Some flowering plants, such as grasses, are pollinated by the wind, so they do not have to attract insects at all.
Parts of a flower. Petal. Stigma. Style. Ovary. Ovule. Altogether, they make the carpel. Sepals are the leaves that hold the flower up. Anther. Filament. Altogether, they make the stamen. Petals are big and brightly coloured. They attract insects. As the insect crawls down the petal, the anthers brush onto it. It gets covered in pollen. The insect flies out and goes to another flower. The pollen then brushes off onto the stigma of the new flower, where it can join with an ovule to make a seed. These are electron microscope photographs of pollen.
This is a honeybee drinking nectar and leaving pollen on the flower. When collecting nectar, a bee stores it in his or her fur. This is a white-tailed bumblebee sitting on a leaf.
Honeybees live in hives in groups called colonies. This is a natural beehive. This is a colony of bees. Honeybees make nectar into honey and store it in honeycomb. Nectar.
Honeybees collect pollen and nectar as food for the entire colony, and as they do, they pollinate plants. Nectar stored within stomachs is passed from one worker to the next. until the water within it diminishes. At this point, the nectar becomes honey, which workers store in the cells of the honeycomb.
Beekeepers make hives for bees to live in. This is a man-made beehive. This is some beekeepers with a hive. Worker bees.
A worker bee is any female bee that doesn't lay eggs, they just do all the work. They collect nectar and take it back to the hive.
Queen bees are massive compared to a drone. A drone is a male bee. It mates with the queen bee to make eggs. A worker bee is tiny. Queen bees can live up to 5 years, but a worker bee can only live for 30 to 40 days. Queen bees lay eggs, which then hatch into grubs. They are put in honeycomb until they turn into bees.
Queen bee communication. Queen bees communicate by quacking and tooting. The queen bee quacks to tell the worker bees that she is ready to come out of her egg. Then the worker bees come and let her out, but they also hold the other queen bees in too, so they don't come out of their eggs. Then the queen bee that has been released toots to attract the worker bees, and then the worker bees split in half, and then they fly off to find a new hive, while a new queen hatches. Because if there are two queens, they will fight to the death.
Here is the sound of queen bees quacking and tooting.